Later's up.
Halloween 1979. White kids from Southie hunted black kids from Roxbury. Boston called it a disturbance. Drop a 1 if you remember that night. 2 if they never told you. Follow Boston's buried truth. 4 years after court-ordered busing began, the wounds hadn't healed. They'd just gone underground. Halloween gave the city an excuse to look away. Masks, noise, and fire on the edges of order. That night, teenagers from South Boston poured toward Columbia Road, some carrying bats, others bottles. Across the line, black kids from Roxbury gathered too, angry, exhausted, and ready to stand their ground. What started as taunts turned into chaos. Windows smashed, tires burned, and cops stood between two neighborhoods that had been taught to hate each other. Police called it a Halloween disturbance. The mayor's office urged everyone to move on. But the people who lived it remember the truth. Racial slurs shouted through masks, blood on the pavement, and friends who never spoke again. For decades, Boston's papers barely mentioned it. No plaques, no headlines, no lessons taught in schools, just silence. But ask anyone who was a kid in Southie or Roxbury that Halloween, and they'll tell you it wasn't trick-or-treating. It was a night when the ghosts of Boston's segregation came out, not from cemeteries, but from living memory. If this sounds familiar, drop your story below. Follow for the Boston history textbooks left out.
So I have a really insane story that I really feel like I'm supposed to share with somebody. About a year ago, I was leaving work after a brunch shift. It was awful and annoying and frustrating. And one of my coworkers, a chef in the back, gave me a bag of food. And I was so excited. I was like, yes, I have dinner. That was so kind and thoughtful. And so I get home and I'm so ready to eat. And I open the bag and it's a bunch of like fish. And I don't eat fish. If you know me, I have a motto. If it's been in the sea, it can't touch me. I just don't hate me. I just don't do seafood. I just don't. And so I was like, like that sucks. Okay, like what do I do with this? Like I have all of this food. I don't want it in my home. What do I do with this? Felt like I heard God say, I want you to give it to somebody. So I actually had plans in just a little bit after work to go to the movies. And I feel like I heard him say, on the way to the movies, I will give you someone to give it to. And I was like, okay, you know what? Sure, that works. That sounds like a win-win for all of us. I get rid of it and somebody gets to enjoy it. So that sounds great. Like, let's do that. So I put the meal in my microwave just to make it like extra hot and fresh. It was fresh. I just wanted it to be like hot. You know what I mean? So I'm about to leave and I feel like I hear God say pretty clearly, bring a candle. And I'm like, what? Wait, did I hear that right? A candle? What does that have to do with anything? That's really weird. Anyway, so I leave and I start driving to the movie theater. And normally on the way to this movie theater, I will see at least one or two unhoused people that I could give food to. I didn't see anybody. And I was like, God, I really don't want this to sit in my car. and my car smelled like fish. Like, I thought I heard you. Like, I thought I was supposed to give this to somebody. Like, what the heck? And so I get to the movie theater, and I hadn't seen anybody, and I feel like I heard God so clearly say, drive around the perimeter of the movie theater. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm trying to offload this, so you know what? Yes, I'll do that. And so I drive around, and I'm about to make my last right turn before I'm back at the entrance, and I'm like, God, there's nobody. Like, what the heck? Like, what's happening right now? This is crazy. And I'm on that last turn, and then I see her. And I heard so clearly, like, that's her. And so I do a little U-turn so I can drive around and pull up next to her. And she's a little wary at first, which breaks my heart that people would be so mean and cruel and give people a reason to be, like, weary and afraid of you. Broke my heart, but I was like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be weird, but I really feel like I was supposed to give this to you today. It's fresh. I have this meal for you. And she eventually takes it, and then she starts crying. And she goes, you don't know what this means to me, because today's actually my birthday. And I was actually just praying for a fish dinner. What? Like, are you kidding me? I was so overwhelmed in that moment with just like, wow. God sees her and knows her.
Did anything about the Big Dig work? Yes, there's two pieces of it, right? There's the piece that buries a mile-and-a-half stretch of highway in downtown Boston, and then there's a tunnel that connects the seaport of Boston to Boston's Logan Airport, known as the Ted Williams Tunnel. That sucker finishes on time, on budget. It's about $1.5 million, and the way they build it is incredible. There's an iron forge in the middle of Baltimore, Maryland, right on the water, where they make these very long, sort of 350-foot long pipes. These tubes, there's two of them, one for the incoming and one for the outgoing traffic. They make 11 of those, then they seal them off by welding them shut. They float them into Boston Harbor, and then they puncture them and sink them with cement trucks inside so that they can seal the inside of it. They send down teams of divers who connect these rubber sort of seals to each other, and they manage to successfully piece this tunnel together. They pile huge granite on top in case a boat ever sinks. It won't actually smash anything to little bitty bits. The divers, it's so cold under Boston Harbor that they have to have hot water pumped into their dry suits while they're down there. Visibility is almost nothing, and so they're doing everything by feel. But amazingly, they finish this tunnel that connects Logan Airport to the seaport. Ted Williams himself is at the opening of the tunnel, and everything goes hunky-dory. The rest of the Big Dig was an unmitigated disaster, and we will talk more about that in a different video. Did anything about the Big Dig work?
I come before you today as already a kid for Federal Hill, whose mother, when she was pregnant to me, could not afford prenatal care. And so she walked down to the Federal Hill House in all kinds of weather to stand in line with a bunch of others who could not afford it. And as she walked home, she would pass a grocery store that had canned peaches in the window. And she would crave for a can of peaches. But she couldn't afford it. My father came here as a fruit peddler, pushing a pushcart in all kinds of weather. During the Depression, worked WPA. And then got his big job. He became a milkman. And my father taught us what it meant to be really strong and really tough. And that was not by knocking someone out or insulting someone or pushing them around or looking down on them or saying no when they needed help. It was by doing the right thing. He showed how tough he was, because when he was sick, he got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and he went to work. And when he had the sniffles, he went to work. And when he was very sick, he went to work. And my mother got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and made sure he had breakfast. That's the environment in which I was brought up. And so I say, let us reach out a helping hand to other people. I became a lawyer Because when I was 10 years old, in a cold water flat on Federal Hill, next to a pot-belly stove, my father sat me down and put his hand on my shoulder and said, I will never be able to afford to send you to college, but you have to go. And you are going to be a lawyer. But don't ever, ever give up. Don't ever, ever give up. He ignited that flame, and even when times got so tough that I couldn't afford to go, and I had to teach days and drive to Boston at night, I never, ever would let him down, and never, never would put that flame out. And so I say that we can all help. We can all lend a helping hand. It doesn't take any money. Sometimes it takes putting your hand on someone's shoulder. Sometimes it's telling them you care. Just giving them direction, give them advice. Treat them with civility and decency and respect and compassion, which is missing in this world today. And that's how we can make this a better world. And so I come before you today, really, really humbled that I have this opportunity. I really do. I get emotional about it. Because I still view myself as a skinny kid, freezing in a cold water flat.
What up, Chaz?
Going downstairs to get the oil in the winter. And you have bestowed upon me the honor to address you today. I want you to know that's very important to me. I come to you as someone who had 19 aunts and uncles, none of whom attended high school. I come to you today as a humble person, trying to give you advice on what's important in this world. And so, my friends, I think the challenge of our generation is to honor the memory of our forefathers by providing a better life for those who follow us. Our challenge is not to get all that we can, but to give all that we can. We must reach deep within the soul that has moved America. Reach for the dreams and values of those who came before us, those who gave so much and took so little. I ask that we think of the homeless, the poor, the downtrodden. Think of the sick, the helpless, the hungry, the less fortunate. Remember the elderly. Remember your parents and your grandparents. Remember the underprivileged and the persecuted. Fight against injustice, bigotry, and racism. And when the book is closed, someday the book is going to be closed on all of us. And when that book is closed, and we are judged on whether or not we met this challenge, we're not going to be judged how much we have taken, but by how much we have given. We're not going to be judged by the dreams that we made come true for ourselves. We're going to be judged by the dreams that we made come true for others. We're going to be judged by the hope that we inspire in the hopeless, and the difference that we make in the lives that we touch.
Hey y'all, good morning. So I reported a nurse for the first time in like 10 years. You know, I usually don't report nurses because I feel like everything is about perspective. You have no idea what that nurse had time for based on the situation that she was given over the 13 hours. But this one, he deserved it. He deserved it. So anyway, y'all know I'm not an ER girly. They keep putting me in the ER. That's their problem because I'm not built for the Wild Wild West, but I do my best, okay? ER means that when we go to the ER, when med-surg tele nurses go to the ER, we do not operate as ER nurses. We operate as med-surg tele nurses that are in the ER, meaning that we are taking care of admitted patients that are supposed to be upstairs, but they don't have a bed ready yet. So we're taking care of them down here. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I get a report from another med-surg tele nurse. And that's important because he's not an ER nurse. He knows better. He knows how we do on the floors. okay? And if you know, you know. Not getting into the ER med surg thing. I love ER nurses, period. Moving on. So he gives me 4 patients. One of the patients is a quadriplegic patient, meaning that they are paralyzed from the neck down, gunshot wound, okay? They can't move anything. So the first thing I ask them is, does the patient have a quad bell? A quad bell looks like the handicap thing, the square on the wall before you go into a door and you hit it and it opens the door. Because they don't have the dexterity of their fingers, you give them a quad bell, you put it on their chest and they can hit it with their chin, okay? This is really important because if you're sick and something's wrong, you have to call the nurse for help. You need to be able to call them, so use the chin, you know what I'm saying? Anywho, I asked him, do you have a quad bell? He said, no, I just check on him frequently. That was the first red flag. Not giving a patient a call bell is a huge deal because that patient, you can come in and that patient on the floor, and even especially with a quadriplegic patient, because think about it, even something as simple as coughing up your own mucus. If you're laying down flat and can't do it and then you can't sit up, you can easily choke or aspirate. It's just very inhumane to not give a person who obviously is sick because they're in the emergency room a way to call for help. Talking about I come in frequently. What is frequently? What is that? We don't even use that kind of language. What are you talking about, Jamal? Or let's give a better name, Ralph. What are you talking about, Ralph? Don't piss me off this morning. Then got the nerve to leave on time. Then he said, sorry, I'm getting ready and I'm gonna put my little compression socks on or whatever. Then he didn't mention anything about skin. And if you know, most patients who are immobile to this extent have some type of skin breakdown. So I said, what's going on with his skin? He said, oh, he has some wounds, but he's good. Okay, where's the clinical skills? Where's the assessment skills? What does good mean? Second red flag. Okay, so I decided I was going to see this patient first. The nurse left. I go into the patient's room. His Texas is off. Texas is a condom catheter. It's a condom with a tube that goes to a bag, and that's how they pee if they're incontinent. So that's off of him. So I'm like, okay, let me clean you up because I knew it was pee somewhere. So I asked one of the nurses to help me. We go to turn the patient. The patient has 5 stage 3 to stage 4 wounds on bilateral hips, his sacrum, and his coccyx. Tunneling with no dressing, open to air, with stool, urine, and blood in a puddle in his wounds. Lactate is 3.6. So you mean to tell me that this patient has an active infection, lactate is high, probably septic, and you have 5 wounds that are tunneling down to the flesh and bone with stool, urine, serosanguinous fluid, blood, just swimming in it. On a bed, open to air.
Case waiting to happen.
So at 7:10 in the morning, the start of my shift, I'm doing a full bath, okay? A full bath and changing dressings in the beginning of my day, okay? So I was irked, and I was really sad for the patient because I'm realizing that this is why systemic racism exists. You wouldn't have treated him like that if he was an older white lady or if he was an older white man that had family in the room. You wouldn't have treated him like that. You're treating him like that because you think nobody's going to check you. Today is the day. Everybody has their day, and today is your day. So anyway, I also found out that the nurse that helped me, the one that I asked to help me turn the patient, is the manager of the ER. So we was going to end up here regardless. She did ask me while she was helping me turn, oh, who gave you a report? But I didn't think nothing of it because nurses talk. But to come to find out, I found out later that she was a manager. And shout out to her because usually when you ask upper management, even if they in scrubs, can they help you with something? They usually direct you to the others, okay? Get somebody else to do it. But she was really helpful and she helped me to the extent that I did not know she was management. Anywho, I give the patient a call bell because he didn't have a call bell the entire time. He's been there for over 24 hours. I get the patient a call bell, and I found out that nobody fed him the entire day before. So we did one-to-one feeds all day. Hence, my guy got reported. Yeah, because you can't be acting like this. You can't do this. And you're a med-surg tele nurse, so you know how we are with wounds. You got to take a picture. You got to change the dressing. You got to do all the things. You do not leave wounds open to air, period, but especially stage 3, stage 4 wounds that are down to the bone with tunneling. Because what are they tunneling poop? What is going on? Why would you leave him like that? And I know you ain't turn him no time soon. And then here's the thing. If it was we have busy days, okay? Sometimes you just don't get to it all. I'm quick to tell the oncoming nurse, hey, I didn't get to this. Do you want to come in the room and help me turn them? And I'll do it right now. He left on time. It was actually people waiting for him to leave. He left on time and gave me a report in 5 minutes. That shows me that you weren't that busy and that you were okay with leaving on time, but leaving things to be done and or leaving the patient in a vulnerable state. And that's a no-go. Anywho, drop a comment. Tell me what you would have done. And
in the 1950s and 60s, Roxbury was home to a thriving network of black-owned businesses. But Boston's so-called urban renewal turned progress into rubble. Follow to uncover the parts of Boston's past they don't put in the textbooks. Dudley Square, today called Nubian Square, was once the beating heart of black commerce in Boston. Bookstores, restaurants, barbershops, music shops, and clothing stores lined the streets. These businesses were more than storefronts. They were hubs of culture, jobs, and pride. Families built livelihoods and passed down legacies there. Then came the Boston Redevelopment Authority. Under the banner of modernization, city leaders drew up plans to demolish blighted areas. Entire blocks of Roxbury were seized and bulldozers rolled through. Many black business owners received pennies for their properties. Some got nothing at all. The promised new development never truly replaced what was lost. By the 1970s, the once bustling commercial center had been hollowed out. Wealth that could have built Boston's black middle class was erased. What had been a thriving business district became a symbol of neglect, with vacant lots where bookstores and jazz clubs once stood. The story of Roxbury's businesses is rarely told, but their loss still shapes Boston today. Have you heard of the black businesses Boston destroyed in the name of renewal? Do you think the city targeted thriving black neighborhoods? Should Boston invest in honoring and rebuilding what was taken? Share.
My next claim is the Earth is not flat. It is probably a sphere.
So good, my guy. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to meet you.
Fanboy, pleasure
Good to meet you. I appreciate it, man.
That's right, that's right. All right, so I'm gonna do this in 3 different parts, right? 3 different parts, easily, real quick. If we were moving barreling through space in the widely accepted version that NASA gives us at like 64,000 miles per hour, right? While spinning on our axis at over 1,000 miles per hour, the constellations would change every hour. The stars would not be able to remain the same. Polaris, one star in the middle that all the other stars circle. The further you get away from Polaris, the faster the stars are moving. The closer you get inside of it, the slower they're moving. This star has not moved for eons, centuries, hundreds of thousands of years, which would be impossible if we were barreling through space.
Well, the question is, Antarctica is kind of the biggest thing when I talk to flat earthers. So Antarctica, right? If you were to enter Antarctica from beneath Argentina, right, Tierra del Fuego, and get onto Antarctica, if you went through the whole thing, would you pop out on the other side of the sphere, on the other side of the southern hemisphere?
So when we talk about the Antarctic wall, right? It's not a sphere or a flat surface. It's a bandwidth. It's almost like a snow globe. You understand? So where the firmament is making the actual the solidified structure of clothes. The solidified structure that we're standing on is the Earth, and the Antarctic ice wall is around it.
Okay.
Encapsulating everything that we're in right now. So leaving outside of that, of course, you would get to more places, more pieces of the Earth.
Okay.
You know that we've been regulated away from.
Yeah. So the ice wall is not infinite, or it is infinite?
No.
So what's past the ice wall?
Or other civilizations.
Oh shit!
Yes,
so
sir.
on the same plane, there are other parallel societies.
Absolutely. Have you heard of Agatha?
No.
Agatha is believed to be the Hollow Earth, and there are different Hopi prophecies. There are different different Native American prophecies in which they describe an ant people, an entire civilization. This will talk about the Atlanteans, even however you would like to call it.
Yeah.
But on these old maps, once you pass the ice wall, there are other continents just outside, with different types of ligers, different types of genetic splice, different type of aliens that you would call it.
Yeah.
So whether or not you would say they're extraterrestrial, interterrestrial, whatever it will be, that's connected into the Anunnaki thing. But
Yeah.
it's almost impossible that the science that NASA gives us to deceive gives us. You feel me?
I mean, just on a base level, I hope that what you're saying is true. On like a
Absolutely.
science fiction adventure level, I want to go there and talk to the ant
The
people.
world's way more interesting, right?
But the big question is, what is the benefit that NASA would have in convincing us that the Earth is round as opposed to flat? Like, what's the benefit for them?
Strongest indications of the slave mind is to get you to deny what you see with your own eyes. To get you to be able to see how close the sun is, how close the moon is, to be able to see the waters above and the waters below, to be able to connect these things in nature to yourself and deny it because somebody tells you that's not true.
So, well, thanks for your time, bro. I appreciate it. Hell yeah, thank you, man.
How you doing?
What's going on, man? Thanks for coming. Andrew, good to meet you.
My
Thanks.
pleasure. My first question for you is, do you know what NASA means in Hebrew?
Oh shit, are you a Hebrew Israelite?
Somewhat. I think it's in my blood.
Okay, cool. Respect.
Yeah.
What does NASA mean?
To deceive
In what language?
in Hebrew.
Is that true? Do we have a Hebrew scholar around?
Yeah,
us?
100%. You can look it up on your own time, for sure. When you talked about the stars, lights, not reaching the Earth and because of the time delay of what is it, space travel or things like that. I think the true answer to the question is the stars are placed into the firmament. Genesis 1 verse 4, the stars are placed into the firmament on like the fourth day of creation. So these are not vast, distant bodies moving through outer space, going, losing all of their energy, and then that light getting to Earth 100,000 years later.
My next claim is the Earth is not flat. It is.
Can I help you?
Hey, ma'am, this is the police.
Okay.
Can you come to the door?
I'm not home right now.
Is anybody home right now?
No. What's going on?
Cars in the driveway. You mean to tell me there's nobody home?
No, there's no one home. Why do you have a mask on?
It's cold out here, ma'am.
Sir? Why do you have a mask on?
Can you come to the
Burlington
door?
Township police don't wear masks.
Sorry?
Burlington Township police don't have masks.
You're not Burlington County Police, ma'am. We're federal agents. You need to come to the door.
I'm not at the door. I am not at the door. I'm out of town. I had a family death.
Here?
No, he's not.
Okay, where is it?
Really? So you're just so you know, you're knocking on a door of a U.S. citizen where my great grandfather was in World War
His
I.
mother?
Excuse me?
Oh, his mother was in World War
No, not my mother. I'm a U.S. citizen, born and raised in New Jersey. Thank you very much.
I.
You have the wrong house.
We have
I am out of
Where's
town.
up?
My house.
in Billy.
Billy?
That's what you just said.
Excuse me? I'm not home.
Question.
Out of town. We had a death in the family. We had a death in the family. Do not, you
So
don't.
who's home?
I'm gonna call the Burlington Township police.
Right.
We are
Oh,
not
that's the
home.
police line.
Okay, we're not home. I am out of. If you want, I can send you a picture that I'm out of town.
You don't need to send anything.
We're not saying that you're not home. You already said you're not home. We get it. Who's home? Somebody's here. There's
No
two cars
one's
in the driveway.
home. No one's home. We had a we
So
had
we're
a family.
live here? Live here or not?
He does not.
Do you know who he is?
Excuse me?
Do you know who?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'm okay.
Have a good day. Excuse me, that's my door, and that's an expensive door. Wait, oh my god. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have my neighbor. Guys, that is my expensive door.
You don't have the lights on. You gotta pay for that too, I guess, while you're gone.
My what? Wait, oh my god. Excuse me, I'm gonna call my parents because you guys, what are you doing? Do you have a warrant? Can I see your warrant that's signed by a judge for you to be coming to and knocking on my door like that? Can you show me the warrant, please?
You know.
That's my house. That's my house.
Alright, well, tell somebody to come outside.
There's no one here. We are out of town. We had a death in the family.
Why did you the lights on?
You break my door. I'm telling you right now. We gotta have. Just call the police. Call the police. I'm calling. This is out of control. We are not home. We had a death in the family.
Who is it?
Okay.
What's in here?
Who's we?
You look. Who lives
My
here?
husband and I. My husband
So
and I.
nobody
My
else.
daughter.
Nobody else.
My daughter.
Okay, and it's just you three that it's just you three. You
Correct.
both are at home.
That is correct. That is correct.
Whose cars are these in the driveway?
That's my husband's car and my car, but we were taken to the airport because we had a death in the family. We had a death in the family. We are out of town.
Ma'am, what's your name? What's your last name?
My last name is and my husband is
and my daughter.
Okay, so who's you had your same last name. Who is
We don't know. We need to see a warrant. Let me tell you something right now. Get out of my house, or we're gonna have a problem. You don't have no warrant. You gotta stop talking. You don't have no warrant.
What problem are we possibly gonna have? What problem are we possibly gonna have? Like, what problem are we gonna have?
You're harassing my household without a warrant.
Huh?
You don't have a warrant, honey. I'm a U.S. citizen. I know my rights of my home. Get this car right now.
Yeah, we'll be back. When would you be home, man? When are you coming back?
I'm coming back next week, and I need. But before you come to my thing, you're gonna have to show me a warrant with a thing signed. Because, honey, let me tell you something. I'm a USA citizen, and you guys are demons, sellouts, Hispanics and blacks harassing. Hey, are you kidding? What about was there? Baby, I can't take this thing. What are they doing? Can I help you?
Mr. Bartley's has been in business since 1960. I was lucky enough to be able to purchase it from the original Bartley family back in March of 2021. My name is Josh Huggard, and we are at Mr. Bartley's.
I'm a firm believer in teaching what's taught, and I was taught this a while back, so I'm about to teach you. This is going to be the blueprint to generational wealth. I hope you can sit down and listen to me for a couple of minutes. The first thing you want to do is open up a trust. I know when you hear trust, you think a rich...
8 crazy facts about New York City you never knew. The last one will blow your mind. Number 1, New York City was the U.S. capital from 1785 to 1790. George Washington was inaugurated as president right on Wall Street. Number 2, there's a secret train platform beneath the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Track 61 was built for President Roosevelt to arrive without anyone seeing his wheelchair. It still exists abandoned today. Number 3, New York loses $250 million in coins every year into sewers, subway grates, and fountains. That's enough to fund entire city programs. Number 4, Central Park is entirely man-made. Every tree, lake, and hill was designed in the 1850s, requiring 5 million cubic yards of soil and 270,000 trees. Number 5, over 800 languages are spoken in New York City, making it the most linguistically diverse city on Earth. Number 6, the Brooklyn Bridge was built with tragedy. The chief engineer died, his son became paralyzed, and his wife Emily secretly ran the project for 11 years. Number 7, Times Square was called Longacre Square until 1904, when the New York Times moved there. Before the bright lights, it was just horse stables. Before I say the last one, make sure to hit that follow button to support the channel. Number 8, more people live in New York City than in 40 of the 50 U.S. states. Over 8 million residents, larger than entire states combined. 8 crazy facts about New York.
Hey, New Jersey, you guys voted. Now, I want you to understand what you voted for. First stop, let's talk about who's standing beside Mikey Sherrill and helping her run this state. Meet your new Lieutenant Governor, Dale Caldwell. For 22 years, Dale Caldwell ran a public agency in New Jersey that was supposed to help kids with special needs and provide school districts with basic services. Sounds noble, right? Well, here's what a state audit found in July 2024. He had $69 million in taxpayer money just sitting there with no plan for it, while your kid's school was begging for funding. Then they found the worst of it. 43 different contracts worth nearly $1 billion were never submitted for state review. And that just means that Dale Caldwell didn't want the state to know where your tax money was going, because it was probably going to people they knew, or even worse, cycling back to them. But it doesn't stop with him. I want you to meet Kelly Duchette. She'll either become a senior advisor for Mikey Sherrill or the head of some agency. Mikey Sherrill brought her in from the offshore insurance world. You know, the kind of job where your bonus depends on not caring about people? And nothing says we care about working families like appointing somebody who made a living off of foreign tax shelters. Now let's talk about some local politicians. I want you to meet the Atlantic City Democrat Mayor Marty Small. He was reelected on November 4th, while he and his wife, the Atlantic City School Superintendent, are facing child abuse charges. I mean, need I say more? What's wrong with you people? Why don't you look at who you're voting for? Now I want you to meet Passaic County's Democrat Council President, Anand Shah, who was reelected on November 4th while facing an 18-count indictment. That indictment is tied to an illegal gambling and racketeering ring. Just your good old Democrat acting like a mobster again, which is becoming a common trend in New Jersey. And there's so many more. Like in Newark, a former Democrat mayor's aide, Al Tariq, pled guilty in September to accepting bribes. In Jersey City, another Democrat, a former school board president, Sudan Thomas, embezzled $45,000 from a city jobs program. I mean, Democrats in New Jersey, what are you doing? Why don't you do some research on who you're voting for and not be so black and white? This isn't a sports team. These people are running policy in your state, and they're corrupt. The Democrats in New Jersey need to wake up and start doing research on what they're voting for. And the Republicans need to wake up too, because you guys cannot go into full defeat mode and put your tail between your legs just because we lost that election. We need to fight back. This is the United States of America, and we will not let this state fall. Hey, New Jersey.
We have a new Mandela effect, and the rabbit hole is so deep that if you go to look for the answer for this, you are not going to find it. So here's two questions that will guarantee we know this as fact. First off, we all know who this is, right? Yosemite Sam, super recognizable character. But this is our second question and where it starts to get weird. What was his catchphrase? Put it in the comments right now. I already know you know what it is. It might have even popped in your head before I said, what's his catchphrase? Because we all know it. Now maybe you thought Wascally Wabbit, and you'd be right. But you probably wrote down, what in tarnation? That was a horrible rendition. He never said it. Never said it. So here's the rabbit hole. I watched this show growing up, and that's where I learned the word tarnation from. Google even says it's a popular expression associated with the character, but it also says it's largely considered a Mandela effect because it never happened. So why do we all remember it? I'm pretty sure I never made up the word tarnation as a kid. What do you think is happening? We have a new Mandela effect, and the rabbit hole is so deep that if you go...
He chose to get paid not in salary. And if we look at the tax benefit from this, it's because you are taxed not on your income. That's not what the tax code says. You are taxed based on your taxable income. So now whatever you counted, every smart accountant, not every smart accountant is going to focus on reducing your taxable income. And so what Elon Musk did is when he was building Tesla, he negotiated with the investors and the board that I want to get paid not with a salary, I want to get paid with stock options. A stock option gives you the right to buy that stock. And he was awarded these Tesla stock options at about $6 a share. Which means if the Tesla stock goes up to $7 a share, he could sell the stock option for $6 and profit $1 for each stock option. Now, he was given millions and millions and millions of these stock options. And so now when the Tesla stock goes up to $100 a share, now he is rich on paper. He doesn't have any money in his bank. He hasn't gotten a salary, so he has no taxable income because he hasn't actually received any money. He has the option to sell this stock for $6 and in return get $100. So net 94. But if he sold that stock, he would have $94 of income. Now you have a tax because you have taxable income. So instead what he does is he goes to the bank and he says, hey bank, I have these millions and millions of stock options that are worth billions of dollars. Would you like to loan me $1 million, $10 million, $100 million at 3, 4, or 5% interest? No bank is going to say no because the collateral is so valuable.
What's the collateral?
The collateral is the company. It's his assets, those stock options.
Which is Tesla
in this instance. So then he gets, let's call it a $10 million loan from the bank. Now he has $10 million in his bank account, but it's not an income. It's debt. Debt is not taxed. If you go out and get a mortgage for $500,000, you're not taxed. If you do a cash out refinance, you're not taxed because that's debt. So now he gets this $10 million of loans that he can spend to buy a house, to buy a car, to buy food, to buy vacations, to buy whatever you want.
To buy Twitter.
To buy Twitter and pay no money in taxes. And it's 100% legal. Now you're going to say, well, Jaspreet, how does he pay it back? Well, let's just assume that you're going to get a 5% interest on this. If the value of Tesla goes up by, say, 7%, he made a profit. So now he can go back to the bank and say, how about you give me an additional $10 million? And he can pay back the old loan because the value keeps going up. And as long as the value keeps going up, no problem. But you can start to see where this gets risky. Because if Tesla goes bankrupt, now we're talking about a house of cards that can collapse. And now you have all this debt that you've already spent and no more collateral.
But in his case, he could, if Tesla starts to fall in value, then the bank will call payment. So if it, say it might be, I don't know, Tesla falls from, let's say, $100 to $10 a share, they're going to call payment. He's going to get, what's that called? He's going to get a
margin call.
A margin call, which means that they're going to say, give me the money back quick.
Yes.
And or they're going to sell off the asset
and
to get their money back quick.
And it's a losing transaction. The bank will lose because if banks do not profit from margin calls. Because once you start making margin calls, that's when panic hits.
Yeah.
And now you have to scramble to sell. And now the bank is just trying to get pennies back out of every dollar that they lent out.
I'm going to get old someday. And I think a lot about making sure I'm wealthy enough so that I can take care of myself when I probably can't work. A lot of people talk about this retirement crisis that the UK and the US are in. What is the retirement crisis and why does it matter to any of us and what do we do about it?
This is a multifaceted issue. The first issue is we have this huge population of old people, baby boomers, that are retired or entering retirement, that have not enough money. This is not just the US, this is also the UK, like you said, which creates a few issues. Number one, who's going to take care of them? Number two, who's going to fund that taking care of them? The government doesn't have that money. And the people that are going into retirement don't have that money. And their kids many times don't have that money. That's the first issue. And now as we start to dig into that, we have people that are working longer, and it creates now this problem in the future that we can see today. If you're in your 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, teens, you can see that there's this problem that's happening. How do we prevent that today? Because I don't know what the solution is for this retirement crisis. I don't have a solution for that.
The average retirement savings for Americans aged 60 is roughly $500,000, and the average age of death in the US is 77 years old. So if you retire at 67 years old, which is the average age of retirement in the United States, then for the next 10 years, you're going to have to live off about $50,000. And the stats say that, well, I actually got this from your YouTube channel, the Minority Mindset YouTube channel, said that the average American needs between $1 to $2 million to retire comfortably.
According to USA Today, we need about $1.8 million. He chose.
Dang. But alright, y'all. It's nice and dead. I'm out of here. Chill.